You're listening to Opinions and Beer. I prefer mead. You sent me to hell, Jason.
I really just want to make everybody jealous.
I'm a person from Earth.
You're the smartest dumb guys I've ever met.
Hello?
That's Eamon.
Hey, what's up?
We are Opinions and Beer!
The Opinions and Beer Podcast.
The Opinions and Beer Podcast.
With your hosts, Adam and Eamon.
Here we are. Live from Southeast. It's from the Southeast. How you doing, people? We're here.
Well, I mean, it's not technically live. I mean, we're live right now.
We are live.
But, like...
We're live for the listener whenever they download it.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just, you know, we're just going to we're just going to keep saying it's live.
We are live. Be sure to, when we do live.
You're hearing this right now for the first time as it's happening.
When we do live stuff, be sure to check us out on Facebook at Opinions and Beer. We're trying to grow that Facebook group up.
Yeah, we've got a you know, it's amazing because like a lot of these newer social medias, like these social media sites or whatever, they're growing at such a strain, like an intense rate, like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all these different places where you know, we have like different accounts set up here and there, and it's like Facebook is blowing up.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, Facebook is taking the lead on a lot of these things. It's really cool to see the different new scenarios unfolding because of that.
Well, yeah, you know that Facebook was trying to launch they're trying to launch their own TV stuff and movies and Facebook films and
Libra, their cryptocurrency.
Oh, Libra, yeah. See, they've taken it slower recently because I felt like they were kind of trying to speed up all their stuff. But it does seem like they've taken a mild, a lot of the like press stuff, that the bad press they were getting, they seem to take a slower rate.
Oh, you mean
growth.
Like Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook.
For sure. It definitely stagnated, but they still hold so much power. I actually remember, like the other day, I saw a little article about like the Twitter CEO, kind of like trashing the Libra cryptocurrency.
Oh yeah,
and he was like, yeah, Bitcoin's gonna be good, but Libra's trash.
Oh yeah.
It just makes me laugh because it's like, are you sure there's not like maybe a little bit of bias in there? I don't know, man. It's anything that has a huge government backing, and I feel like Facebook, government definitely has a pretty big backing in that, but I'm usually not too active or involved with something like that. That's why, like, guys, you may not see me on Facebook too much, but I want to be on there to connect with you. You know,
yeah.
Like all the people that listening and our fans and whatnot, or people just want to collaborate and stuff. It's really cool to have a medium where we can interact with them and meet them.
Yeah. 100%. I love, and I wish you would join because I haven't seen anyone from. I know you're listening, people from Ireland. We haven't had any Irish people join our Facebook group yet, and I just know that I constantly see that you're downloading our episodes.
Really?
You haven't joined it. Yeah, we have. I noticed that we have direct subscribers from Ireland. When I say repeat, I mean like on a weekly. Every time we release an episode, a person from Ireland downloads, about 2 people from California download, someone from Michigan downloads, someone from where's the Irish place? Massachusetts downloads.
The Irish place is Ireland.
Oh no, but Irish America.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Irish
American Ireland.
Yeah,
AKA Boston.
I know we have a few instant listeners.
Yeah. Which by the time you're listening to this, it's gonna have quadruple. So thanks, guys. Thank you.
And this is Opinions and Beer. Before we get on to we sort of have a reflection of the news. We're reflecting on news today's episode, some older news. Older and current, older/current, a mixture of older and current news.
Yeah.
And with that being said, we have Abita's Subtle Golden LT. It is 4.8% in alcohol by volume, made by the Abita Brewing Company in Louisiana. It is a golden ale brewed with Earl Grey tea and lemons.
Oh, here, let me read off the stuff on the back real quick. It says, Subtle Golden Ale Tea, steeped with Earl Grey tea and fresh lemons. Subtle Tea, oh, I like what they did there, is a golden ale with true tea qualities. That's not too descriptive, but I guess we'll take your word. The tea leaves and lemon blend well with the Columbus and Hallertau hops, giving this ale a refreshing herbal taste and aroma with a clean, crisp finish. I guess we'll have to put that to the test.
Oh, yeah.
And I apologize, listeners, because I haven't been on a few podcasts here recently, so that's one of the reasons why we kind of started jumping into issues. I just want to talk about everything with you guys. So, oh shit, let's try this.
You want to
tea.
try this beer?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said tea.
It's a nice. The color is definitely golden. I'm not sure what Earl Grey tea tastes like.
Okay, so I did want to comment on this. Earl Grey tea. Apparently, the South is Texas, the Bible Belt, especially. Yeah. This entire area is really, really like mainly the tea that we use around here. Almost all the tea that we get is Earl Grey tea.
Okay.
So, to us, this is just normal. To people outside of this area, this would be like kind of a little bit weird for them for it to be Earl Grey. But I don't know. That's because a lot of teas are just very unique in themselves in the way that you you can use almost anything and then just say that it's a tea as long as you steep it long enough, you know?
Yeah. It has a I'm getting a mild tea aftertaste. I'm getting more of the lemons though. I think the lemons are overpowering any tea taste I might have.
Well, let's see. What is it, like golden ale tea? So it's supposed to be like a kind of like lemon tea. They're probably going for like the brisk flavor or something.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mixed with the light beer.
That's kind of what it is.
Let me get a little bit more into this.
Like a brisk, maybe. Like some kind of like a. It's just, or a fuse, maybe fuse.
See, I've got to try not to be partial because I probably haven't drank a beer in like a week.
Okay.
So I'm immediately like, oh, amazing. But this beer is, I won't go as far as to say that it's amazing. I do think, now here's the thing that I like being able to do. Because I know that some of our listeners, like we drink a lot of craft beers. We enjoy craft beers. We have a community of people that enjoy the craft beers. We also have listeners that just, they're regular bros just getting their fucking Bud Lights from the store,
Yeah.
And so I like finding beers that are kind of similar to those. That way we can use those as like an introductory into different flavors of beer. So this is one of those beers that I'm going to say, like, I feel like this is almost a Bud Light mixed with like lemon tea. Yeah. So like if you enjoy a Bud Light, you may actually enjoy this as well.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely on the lighter side. It being a golden, there's not much bite to it. So it's very smooth. It's very
it's smooth and crisp, but it does have like that. There's a bitterness at the end. I don't know if you're catching that too, but that bitterness is actually the tea. Like I can taste the tea that they put into this beer. Like they did a good job. Honestly, guys, like it tastes just like lemon tea and beer mixed. Like, I mean, it's not an amazing beer.
Plus, I don't know what the shelf
concept. They grabbed it, and that's what it is. It's exactly what they aimed to make here. So, I have to give them points for that.
Oh no! What's today?
I'm not going to give them points for me liking it though.
We are okay. We are actually 22, 28, 9. We're about 10 days from this being as good as it could be.
As good, yeah. Because it says that it's Best By. So you want to drink it on the Best By date.
Best or before.
No. No, drink it on the Best By because that's the day that it's going to be the best.
Best By that day.
Be the best.
It means after that day, it's going to start losing flavor. So, but 8. So I mean,
sounds like.
So honestly, though, to be fair,
opinion to me.
To be fair, it being Best By August 22nd and it's September. It's not too bad for it being
a little out.
A little out.
Saying? Yeah, no. I mean, it may have tasted even better beforehand. Abita is one of those companies that I feel like when they set out to do something, it's not really like craft beer style.
Yeah.
But it's in the same vein as like the flavored drinks, right? Like, don't they like focus on like root beers and stuff like that as well?
Yes, they do Abita root beer. Yeah, they're kind of like the Louisiana St. Arnold's. Like if Texas has St. Arnold, that's kind of like their big craft beer thing.
Yeah.
I mean, because Shiner's like fake craft. I mean, Shiner.
That's a matter of opinion. That's
Shiner,
some fighting words around these parts, brother.
Shiner's still considered craft, but they're like
what do you say?
Big.
Shiner's crap?
No, they're considered craft.
We're never gonna get a deal with Shiner now.
Shiner's considered craft, but they're kind of a big beer of craft, so it's kind of weird.
You hear that, crap community?
Abita is very similar to St. Arnold's. The Louisiana St. Arnold's.
I get what you're saying though. That's very cool. That's cool. I don't know. Maybe that would be something that we could do one day. Is maybe go out and venture. Since Louisiana is kind of close to where we are, like that wouldn't be too far to venture out.
Right.
And maybe try one day.
That'd be cool. So what would you rate this beer?
Okay, so we're not. It says that we're out of date, but it's honestly not that far out of date.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that the time doesn't matter in the way that this beer was crafted. I'm not gonna like sit here and say that I'm not like crazy about this beer because of the date.
Okay.
Like, I think that it just doesn't. Like, I think that with a lot of these kind of mass-produced beers like this, or not mass, but like, overproduced beers like this, you lose a lot of the beauty of the crafting process and what it does to make a really good, genuine beer. Like, and I feel like the difference between a good craft beer and somebody that mixed tea with beer is noticeable in this beer. So it's not getting a lot of points for me. I'm saying maybe a 4 or a 5.
I'll give it a 5.
But
I'll give it a solid 5.
The reason why it is a 5 is because it's exactly what it says it is. It's so fucking hard. I cannot begin to describe how hard it is and how annoying it is whenever we go to rate and taste these beers and they say that it's something and then it's not an authentic representation of anything that they say.
Yeah.
Like, they might give us a fucking beer and they're like, this is blueberry blue beer that tastes nothing but blueberries. And then we taste it and there's not a single fucking blueberry taste to it, and it tastes like something else, like salt or something.
What was that last one? What was the one we did? Was that sweet potato that didn't taste like
sweet potato? No, because sweet potatoes, it did have a hint. It had a hint of like I don't know, like it had the earthy taste that you do get kind of from sweet potatoes.
Okay.
But who knows, man? People do a lot of crazy things with food too.
So we're gonna move on. A lot of news happening around the world. Apple had their big, Apple had their big conference like they usually do the yearly. It's kind of like their yearly. What's the gaming one?
Are we gonna start reviewing products now, or
No, I'm just
Apple
talking-
sending us the new iPhone?
No, I
to
want to
test?
talk about. I want to talk about Apple.
Say Apple's great. Thanks for the
backlash-
iPhone, Apple.
The backlash that Apple had with. Usually they unveil a new product or something, and something like revolutionary, something that's going to come out.
Okay.
But this year, there was like all this big hype, and the guy came out, and then he spent like 3 hours talking about Apple streaming some TV service, and it's going to be available on their Apple TVs, and they're going to have 11 shows, and the only thing he talked about that was an hour. It took him an hour to say all that. And then for the next 2 hours, he talked about Jason Momoa and how Jason Momoa was going to be the lead in some Bird Box ripoff TV series.
Okay. Is that an official statement? Bird Box ripoff TV series?
He didn't. Yes.
Or
for me.
do you just not know?
No, it's like a blind. It's like. Yeah, it's like people that can't.
Blind Jason Momoa.
Yeah, it's blind Jason Momoa.
Well, find out the movie title or show title, and then I'll trash it. I don't want to trash on because I haven't watched the iPhone display or whatever. So I don't want to do a biased opinion. You know, I want to be fair, but at the same time, okay. I think I get what
it's called C.
See.
SEE.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that is kind of like a almost blatant ripoff. So, okay, well, the name of that title cleared up that query very fast.
Jason Momoa apparently.
Jason Momoa apparently watched Bird Box several times.
Apparently
before
thinks
this.
his Apple TV show C is better than Game of Thrones.
That's a fucking ballsy ass statement there, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, like he did good in Game of Thrones. Like the first season of Game of Thrones was amazing. But like I don't know if C is going to have like an Emmy nominated like fucking like multiple season run.
So
I mean, I know that he may have like signed a contract,
yeah.
but who knows?
Yeah.
Yes, stop it.
What? So the star. So apparently the show takes place hundreds of years in the future after humanity has largely lost the sense of sight, and for which Apple worked with blind and low vision cast, crew, and consultants for authenticity.
Okay.
And they have to deal with I guess monsters and stuff while they're blind, can't see.
That sounds like that short YouTube skit that came out several years before Bird Box, where like, if you moved or whatever. Do you remember that old YouTube video?
No.
I think it was like a short film or whatever, but it was like these people standing in a room, and then like, if they moved at all, like this weird creature like ran up and like murdered them.
Oh, really?
On spot. Yeah, so like they had to like be super still and quiet.
That sounds like the other show about the Quiet Place.
That's what I'm saying. They may have eventually adapted it into a movie. I can't remember.
Maybe that's where.
Probably because I'm like
where a lot
spitting
of
out
these-
bullshit from like half truth information here, you know. But
I have noticed that a lot of these like movies and shows are being adapted from like weird short YouTube videos.
yeah,
Like Lights Out. Do you remember there was like a? I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. Have you seen that movie Lights Out or a trailer for it? And it was like that started from a YouTube video of just some lady in her apartment, and every time she would turn the lights off in her apartment, she would see a figure, and then she turn the lights back on, and she wouldn't see it. Then she turn them off, and the figure would get closer.
was it Momo?
No. But then they made a
Every
movie.
time she turns off the lights and turns it back on, Momo's closer.
Yeah. And then they made that movie where I guess the kids or like these teenagers were like in a school that was closed. It was at night or whatever, and like and then this creature would come in, like was doing the same thing but inside the school. When they turned the lights off, it's called Lights Out. Anyway, it's very interesting. So, are you gonna buy the Jason Momoa $5 a month? $5 a month.
Okay. So here, let me comment on this because I think I get what you're saying. I think people are pissed because instead of focusing on technology or whatever, you're like. They focused on a streaming service. It seems like a waste of time. Seems like a waste of money. In all honesty, from an outward perspective, from a third-party perspective, it looks like Apple was trying to read the market instead of trying to work on what they know and moving further into the future with that. Instead, it sounds like they're trying to sell out and do a little bit of like this bullshit that all these other companies are doing. It's a big push by. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but almost every industry has been pushing towards things like Stadia and subscription services. I don't know if like any gamers are listening, but like all of the platforms are trying to go to this unified mobile console where like all the you don't own anything. You essentially like rent a phone essentially, and then stream services for a subscription fee. That way you never actually own a full product besides the licenses that these companies allow you to keep for a very small until they eventually feel like cutting the contract. So personally, I am not down for that. And the reason why is because it's going to stifle innovation. It's going to get everyone into this one unified, monopolized type idea. So these other people aren't going to be able to... It's going to create a place where there's a different society, a different like class where like the entertainment industry monopolize that, and that's not okay. That's not okay. So like we need to voice our opinions against that. Well, personally, that's what I'm going to do. So I understand where people are upset over this, but we also do have to look at it from a business perspective. This guy's just doing his job. He was hired to cross-promote and adapt a new app for Apple. Apple is just like the reason why they were successful in the mid-2000s, the reason why they blew up so much is because they had innovative new technology.
iPod?
But yes, like the iPod. But then they immediately continued to go into these new zones. Like after the iPod, there were the iBuds or whatever, and then there were obviously the iPhone, and that's progressed super rapidly.
Yeah.
And we were just talking a little bit off podcast about how filming and things of that nature are going to be so far advanced. Just with people having the capability of filming, like major motion pictures
on their phone.
With their phone. Like, that's
Instead
incredible.
of having to throw down $10,000+ for these expensive cameras, they could just have a pocket-sized camera that would do the same stuff. That can carry the same weight. So it's so crazy.
I mean, what's your take on all of this?
I think they're just not offering anything. It kind of felt like a waste of time because, especially with binge watching such a big thing, and you're spending $5 a month for 12 shows. Those 12 shows are going to be watched within that first month, and so what do you got? They don't have any other. They're not going to have any other shows. They don't have any licenses to distribute. Any other movies or shows other than the ones that they make, and so they're not going to have much of a selection. And so it seems like everyone wanted the next big thing, and the next big thing wasn't the next big thing. It was the same thing that everyone else is doing. You know what's going to happen now? Because Apple is doing all this stupid side bullshit, and they're not focusing on what the community wants, the market is going to decide for them. Yeah. Someone's going to produce a better fucking phone, or they're going to produce something that makes the iPhone technology like almost useless. Like, you're already getting people who are saying like
Like, dude, I have this phone, and then now for like a fucking stand, I have to pay $1,000 for a stand. Like, people aren't going to be okay with that when in the future they got fucking foldable phones or whatever.
I mean, whoever their market is now, they sort of have. But you're right; they're not going to be bringing in any new market with this current strategy. But if you think about it, cloud-based systems and whatnot, people are just going to want to keep their stuff where they are.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we mentioned earlier about how we're very convenience. That the convenience right now in society and how we strive for just more and more convenience and the convenience of moving all your stuff
we're very
from one
as
cloud.
a society.
From one cloud to another, or moving your information, or even trying to get to your information from one cloud to another, it might be too inconvenient for people to switch from Apple to anything else.
What's gross is that we've been able to watch. I mean, I've kept my eyes open. I'm sure most of you listeners have as well. Where we've seen over time, Google has like kind of completely taken over almost every aspect. Like now, if you want to communicate with a person, almost everything goes through a Google type filter of some kind.
Yeah.
And it's like they take this information, they sell it to third party promoters. That way they can advertise on the web while you're looking through something. Like it's insane. And people they get so beat up over it because like the younger generations or whatever, the newer ones that are popping up, they grew up with this system and they don't know of any other alternative options, and that's why they're so focused on it.
Yeah.
And man, I just can't wait until fucking a new system comes into place from the market that just absolutely destroys all this stupid monopolization.
Yeah,
I'm really excited for it.
You just don't know, like, when will it be?
We're either gonna go to space or we're gonna go back into caves.
Right? You either evolve or devolve, I guess.
No, I was actually like watching something the other day that was showing these people, and it's like these very like modern people who are like super stoked about going and like digging out and like formulating like these beautiful cave homes.
Okay.
And looking at it from I don't know, somebody scratching my belly button at home on my couch, I'm like, oh man, these guys, wow, that seems foolish as as a species, but
oh God. In other news, Oktoberfest beer news. Oktoberfest have been hitting the shelves this past month. Can't wait to get some Oktoberfest. Hopefully, we can do some Oktoberfest special events coming up in the future. We're going to be working on that for Oktoberfest, probably around October, probably early October. I think Oktoberfest is around September 26th to like October 6th. So somewhere in the middle of there, we're going to be doing some fun stuff with Oktoberfest. Can't wait for that. What's some fun news? Oh, the chicken sandwich from Popeyes.
Oh, shit. Has it been that long? Okay, so if you didn't know already, Popeyes has totally destroyed Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is crashing and burning. They are in fiery crumbles. Chick-fil-A's anti-homosexual building has now collapsed upon itself and is in flames by none other than Popeyes chicken.
Well, they've been throwing some shade because Popeyes is out. They're out of chicken. And then Chick-fil-A is like, well, we don't run out. We don't run out of chicken.
They're like, we're used to this game.
But apparently
but guess what, Chick-fil-A? You don't run out because the demand isn't that high.
Well, apparently it's not the chicken they ran out of. It's actually the particular, like the buns and how they make their buns and stuff or whatever is what really is the problem.
Yeah.
So trying
sugar.
They're trying
sugar and yeast.
Did you eat the?
No, I haven't had it. They're sold out.
When they first had them.
They're sold out everywhere.
When they first opened?
Yeah, it was immediately sold. By the time I knew of it,
Dude.
like people were talking about it online and memes were huge. So like they were sold. I still haven't had one, but I mean, this is the deal. I'm trying to eat like healthier and stuff like that. I'm not going to go out and get a Popeyes chicken sandwich.
The first,
and I completely support Popeyes because it's like it's a market fucking representation of like Chick-fil-A. Step up your game. You cannot be a regressive person. You cannot be a regressive company in this day and age, or else the market will provide something else to beat you out at your own game. They're going to do it better, they're going to do it cheaper, and it's going to taste better. And you're going to lose that business because you're too foolish to look past your own ideals.
I'm not sure about the regular chicken sandwich, but the spicy chicken sandwich.
Oh shit!
Unbeatable.
Do they have a spicy version of the?
That's what I'm talking about. The Popeye spicy chicken sandwich is unbeatable.
Yeah. But
Unbeatable.
we will have. You do have to say this, like, okay, guys, if you think that this is the good decision to make, why weren't you making it all this time before? You know?
Yeah.
So speak up, Popeyes.
Speak up. To figure out when they're coming back, you have to download their app. So I had to go and download their Popeyes app.
You had to download a Popeyes app to know?
Because they said
you think it's a thing?
Yeah,
like,
probably was they did that so you have to go download their Popeyes app to get more down. Cause I bet you nobody downloaded the Popeyes app. Who wants to download stupid? Because you can't do nothing. It's not like you could order food on the app or nothing. It's just information.
It
and
just
stuff
tells you if they
in the
have,
menu and yeah.
like.
And then
Popeyes is like, you can download our order receipts right now.
the buns were good though. Like the buns are like these like weird like buttery buns, and like the sauce. They had like this really, I hate sauce, and their fucking spicy sauce was amazing on their chicken sandwiches. Oh my god! I was so mad at them.
It's almost like we're being sponsored by Popeyes.
Yeah, right.
But we're not. So.
And then a while back ago, Epstein killed himself or whatever in the cell, or maybe he did or didn't.
Okay, so Epstein.
Epstein.
I'm not.
Epstein.
I haven't heard it.
And then he
heard it pronounced. But
Epstein, my bad. Epstein was found dead in the cell, and then he had a picture of Bill Clinton in a dress.
But I mean, how much? Because I've been wondering about this myself. You know, obviously, like, it's just insane that all of these things that have been fucking like demonized by society as like, you know, like conspiracies and stuff like that. A lot of this fucking weird Alex Jones shit, like Pizzagate or whatever, was the whole idea of Pizzagate was that like apparently Hillary Clinton and top-ranking officials in this shadow government or whatever have a child sex ring that people, you know, interact with. And I mean, I had seen weird YouTube videos claiming this, and I know that at one point in time someone was so passionate about it that they showed up at a pizza place near like Washington DC with a gun. Which, you know, that's insane. That's insane that someone was that passionate about it or whatever. Like, you don't show up places with guns.
These people are
like,
smart.
But at the same time, that guy was so demonized that the entire conspiracy believing, like, about people thinking that, like, this pizza place was, I don't know, included in some sex ring was completely thrown out the window. And then, what is it, like 4 years later, whenever people cared way less about that particular topic, it comes to light that Jeffrey Epstein is like this child sex slave ring operator.
Yeah, you see all this crazy,
and he's got a picture of Bill Clinton in a blue dress at his thing. So I want to say that, like, you know, hey, just because this guy is weird and has a picture of Bill Clinton does not mean, a painting or whatever, it's not like an actual picture, it does not mean that Bill Clinton was involved in this.
Yeah,
Like you can't say that.
No, it was just weird. It was just funny. It was like a funny.
Yeah.
He has a picture of a dude of Bill Clinton in a fucking dress.
I'm sure a lot of fucking weird murderers have weird pictures
my
of people
God.
in dresses too.
It's so crazy.
So I mean, we can't attribute all of that.
But no, I think the big thing with Epstein, though, the news that I really wanted to touch on was the fact that apparently before he died, like a day before he died, he had signed a paper.
If he's even dead.
He signed a paper basically being able to hide who all of his people he worked with were. He was able to hide who his benefactors.
Some type of weird plea deal.
Yeah, no, he signed a weird this weird confidentiality will thing, to where you can't see who his benefactors were, and who who controls his money, and all kinds of weird stuff. And because I think, and the thing was they were going to use this money to pay the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. They were going to pay the victims and the victim's family, but he signed something to basically hide the money and who the money was going to end up going to, like bankers and private, whoever was working with him and probably knew about his stuff. And apparently it's going to take years for this to cease until them to be able to get any information from the Jeffrey Epstein files.
That's insane. That's insane. I honestly have been so out of touch with a lot of the media for the simple fact that, I mean, you can't really tell. And, you can't really tell what's real, what's falsified anymore. So I try and look at everything from an objective position. That way to kind of come up with my own basis. And I hope that you guys out there, you folk at home, kind of try and do something similar. I mean, you can still watch these main news sites or whatever, because a lot of what they're saying is think of it like a criminal does. Criminal goes back to the place that they have committed a crime usually, and they usually most of those egotistical bastards will go back to somewhere and be like, oh man, it's so crazy that this happened here, and I was here whenever this happened, playing pool, and definitely didn't murder anyone. You know, they will in a way I forget what implicate themselves. Yeah. You know, so think about it whenever you're watching these news sites or whatever, wherever you get your media, think about it from a perspective like that. You know? Yeah. And then I think personally that'll help kind of be able to show you the difference between what's real and what's false. Yeah.
And did you see that I think it was 50 people were just arrested recently, 50 doctors and police officers were arrested for sex trafficking and things. You know,
are you joking?
No. It was in Florida, 50 doctors and police officers.
You can't help but smile whenever
it
was Florida. It was Florida.
No, but it's just so crazy. But a lot of people were. There's a big wonder of how an argument was made against conspiracy theories of how can these people do these things with all this technology we have, right? How can people stay under the radar? How can an Illuminati society exist? You always see these talk show hosts. Yeah, sure. How can people keep their mouths shut about it? You know, and it probably has a lot to do with bribery. The fact that the people that if they say something, they'll die. Something bad. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think a lot of these people that try and say these things, I don't think they think about it from a logical position. Like for real. Have you person saying this, have you ever considered the fact, or have you ever had your family threatened? Your loved ones threatened, your livelihood threatened. If you're someone living day by day, if you do not have the money to make it, and a lot of these people that are in these situations, that's where they're at. If someone comes through And it would just take one thing to fucking break your whole life, to break your livelihood. What? And then someone sits there and uses that as blackmail on you? I mean, we can't say what people will and won't do.
Yeah.
Like, people are disgusting. People are able to commit the most, like, unthinkable, atrocious acts. And that's just them themselves. Not even without somebody culminating and or, like, making this situation happen around them and forcing them into it. And that shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
So,
and one of the biggest things I want to touch on is that recently we've been finding more, because now it's actually like people are like, hey, there might be some sex trafficking. No, it's a conspiracy. Well, let's do some digging. And now, lo and behold, we're catching, and it's like random people. It's not like high profile. It's like people that's like, who the fuck's that guy? It's just some random person that's a part of this big giant conspiracy, sex trafficking or something weird. It's like they're part of this big thing, and they're just a nobody. You wouldn't even notice this person in a crowded, in an empty room. You wouldn't notice them in an empty room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I just think it gets nuts, and hopefully they find, because you got to think that maybe there's like this someone that's controlling it at the end. Like
you think that there's a lead somewhere to be followed?
Yeah.
In almost all of these instances, there is. The problem is the people that find out information usually don't get to express that information or whatever.
So just crazy conspiracies and everything that goes on with that. Another conspiracy news. I mean, what's up with Sony and Disney fighting over Spider-Man? That's some crap. Spider-Man.
All kinds of crazy shit has happened. I personally didn't like. You're gonna be my news introduction to this, because I saw like a couple of videos here. I saw the outcry from the public, but I wasn't able to look into this. So what do you got?
Some people
for
think
me?
it's
And I'll
fake.
kinda
Some people
comment
think
for
it's like. I think Sony, Disney wanted a little bit more money up front, or I guess in general, because I think they're getting 5%, and they want a clean 50-50.
Who does?
Disney.
Okay.
For Spider-Man profits.
Okay.
And Sony's like, no, because I guess that 5% is quite a bit, and then 50% is even way more. And Sony they just don't want to do that. They'd rather just keep Spider-Man and add them to their to like the Venom universe and stuff like that. And so basically, Disney's kind of lost Spider, which is fine, because I don't think Disney even wanted to use Spider-Man that much anymore, except with maybe Doctor Strange. And so it's just annoying, because now
you said it's fine.
Well, no, in a sense, because I mean, when I say it's fine, I mean like Disney probably feels like it's fine at the end of the day, because Spider-Man's story is kind of very Iron Man Jr.-ish, and because Iron Man is no longer in MCU, Spider-Man's story's kind of ended for them, and that's why they're going to move on to all these because they're moving on to more.
Like, that's kind of foolish on their part.
It
because
is.
The only thing like that, like guys, if you weren't aware of like Thor 2 and Avengers 2, like MCU fucking struggled. They were struggling for a while there because their content wasn't that good and people didn't care about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So what happened that saved
Civil War?
Civil War saved it.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man was the person that fucking brought it all together.
Yeah.
So much so that they've been forced to include Spider-Man into 2 or 3 of his own movies just since being introduced from Civil War.
Yeah.
I mean, Stan Lee, he had an amazing thing going, obviously. But in my generation, like X/Y or whatever, the most important thing to us from Marvel growing up was like the X-Men and Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's not going away. Our love and want for Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, Sony's still
It's
going to
not
make
going
Spider-Man.
Yeah, the problem is Sony had a couple chances to make Spider-Man before.
Sony messed up a
and
few
they
times.
fucking-
Whenever it was Sony controlling it themselves, they do mess up. And then other hero news. Joker.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest here, man. Like, so Disney's setting up all this stuff for the Disneyverse on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah.
And they're putting everything behind a paywall, for one.
Yeah.
They're putting all of this content behind a paywall, and they're taking out probably one of the only things that was like good about the new Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I'm just saying this, man, from a third-party perspective here.
Yeah.
Just giving my opinion, guys. I know there's a lot of Marvel fans out there, myself included. I'm not gonna get Disney Plus.
What?
I'm not gonna do that. Like, why would I do that? Why would I
Mandalorian?
spend my money? Yeah, it doesn't matter though. Like, all of that is like fucking Jar Jar Binks shit, anyways. Like, everything that Disney has been producing. Like me and Ed Ray have discussed this. Everyone we've seen up to this point, it feels like they're spitting out more and more of catered, like manipulated stuff, and we don't want that in our loved franchises.
Right.
Like true nerds don't fucking like that's not what we want. So
I mean, they're doing House of M for. They're setting up House of M. That's me crazy.
yeah, no, I get it. Like, I think that everything that they're doing is a rock solid idea, but they're putting it all behind a paywall.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the common man like isn't gonna go out of their way to do that.
I don't know, $4.99 a month or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, some are, but like, I'm telling you, man,
I
like,
understand, though.
some people, it's gonna push people away, and they're not like on. I don't think they're getting on like a ground level. They're getting on the level of like, maybe YouTube nerd hypers,
Yeah.
like those people are fucking stoked. But as for everyone else.
I was gonna bring up this man that killed his family, then run around naked, and then choked a dude at his truck, but maybe that's for another day. I'm gonna bring up the Joker outrage, not Joker outrage. I guess Joker screen, and it's getting rave reviews. Apparently, some people are upset though because it's disturbing apparently, and shows it sheds light on a mass killer and a person with a mental disorder. During the Joker event, they stood and did an 8-minute ovation. Who the hell claps that long? Who the fuck's clapping that long?
So are you saying it was like a film screening of the Joker,
Yes.
and then they stood and clapped for 8 minutes?
Yes.
I don't know. I guess people that are really, really mad at Heath Ledger's performance, they're so pissed that that Heath Ledger did such a bad job that they went to Joaquin Phoenix's film and clapped for 8 minutes. Wow, those people are assholes.
Assholes. But you know what? That's just our opinion. And that's fine, because all we've got here are opinions and beer.
Oh my God.